All right, everyone. So thank you for checking out this video. I just wanted to say hi, and we're here with Marisha Ray. A little wave there, Marisha. Yeah, we're
Hi guys.
awesome. Well, again, thanks for joining us today to talk a bit about Lost Hope with the fans and about what you've done in the past. So let's just dive right in here. Uh,
Yeah.
so why don't you first tell our fans, for people who don't know who you are, a bit about who you are and what you've done and what you're working on.
My name is Marisha Ray. Hi, nice to meet you. And let's see, I am an actor and all-around nerd and personality based out of Los Angeles. And currently, right now, you can watch me play D&D with a bunch of fellow voice actors on a show called Critical Role on Geek and
Including one
Sci-fi.
that just snuck behind you there, I think, actually.
Oh yes, that one of the.
Want to do a wave in there, Matt?
I'll pop in and say hi real fast. Hello! Crossing by. Rolling stealth terribly.
Rolling stealth terribly. Put her in the bedroom, babe. Sorry, he's dealing with our bird.
Yeah.
I have a bird named Dagon. And let's see, what else? Yeah, I'm a voice actor. You can hear me in Persona as Margaret. You can hear me in Star Wars Battlefront, Metal Gear Solid, and a few other things coming out here soon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. Yeah, it's funny because I was actually playing Metal Gear the other day, and I freaking heard you on my station. I was like, wait a minute, that's Marisha. And I had no idea, of course. I mean, I've done voice acting with you, and I've directed you and all that. And then I'm like, Natalie, you have to come over here and check this out. She's like, what? So I walked up, and I wanted her to hear your voice, but instead I knocked you out.
Oh no! What?
Yeah, and so it took me like 2 or 3 tries of going back to the base to get that voice back again for her to hear it. But as soon as you did, we're like, that's totally Marisha. I can't believe it. Oh man, Solid Snake's one of my heroes. You know, David Hayter. He is Snake. I'm a little sad they got rid of him.
Oh, I know. He was the best.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like you said, he is Snake. He will always be Snake.
He will always be Snake.
Here's to you, Hater.
Here's to you, Hayter. Yes.
But yes, no, as a huge Metal Gear fan, that was a blast to record on. So I remember booking that one and being like, oh God, especially considering as we are now learning that this is going to be Kojima's last Metal Gear with the franchise.
Kojima.
I know. So I'm glad that I made it in before.
And he's starting a new company too, so we get to get some exciting news there. We'll see what kind of new franchises and IP he comes out with that.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to free him up a lot, you know?
I agree. And
it seems like Konami's starting to do a big push towards mobile gaming exclusively, so all their big IPs seem to be falling off the map right now when it comes to AAA titles. So see where they're going to go, and now they don't have Hideo to kind of carry them.
I know. I mean, I know they're doing, are they trying to do like a reboot? Oh, hang on, wait.
Isn't everyone doing a reboot?
Everyone's doing a reboot. Yeah. I'm going to let that one go.
Heck, even Reboot's getting rebooted, so there you go. So yeah, so you've done a lot of awesome stuff, obviously, voice acting wise. So you're in the new Star Wars Battlefront, which I'm also playing. I actually haven't heard your voice yet. Who do you play?
I'm a stormtrooper.
Oh, sweet!
I think you can also hear me in TIE Fighters. People say you can hear me in TIE Fighters a lot. Apparently, yelling at them. I'm generally yelling at you.
Oh, it sounds like pretty much what we hired you for on our show too.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
I don't know. Maybe it's probably saying something about me, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so you also did Superpower Beatdown with Bat and the Sun as well. You hosted their show. Did you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yep, which is still kicking and going. So you can see that over on Machinima, or just go to Superpower Beatdown, superpowerbeatdown.com. Which
are awesome. You guys do such a good job. I have to commend you on that, taking those characters, taking the fans' votes, and making them.
Thank you. It's fun. It's a fun show.
Yeah, it's really impressive how well they do the costuming and stuff too. You know, they're like down to the T pro costuming, and yeah, it's just awesome.
Yeah, they've collected quite a good menagerie of costumes and costume designers over the course of the show.
Full of costumes, I bet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. And speaking of superheroes, you were also in Batgirl Spoiled, which was a very short-lived thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
I know. Rip Batgirl Spoiled.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That one was my baby. I produced and wrote and was Batgirl in that one, along with, of course, with the team of other producers and writers.
Yeah.
But that one was a passion project that was amazing and had such a long life ahead of it, and we got a cease and desist from Warner Brothers, which in Los Angeles you call a compliment. So it was fine. We took it like champs and went out and had drinks, and then 6 weeks later they brought Stephanie Brown back into the comics. So
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, maybe you had a hand in that somehow, magically.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's too bad. It's really good what you guys did get to put out. So,
Thanks.
yeah,
That was fun. That was fun, especially considering it was like all out of pocket with what we had around us.
Tell me about it. That's what Lost Opal is.
Yeah, man, passion projects.
Yeah.
But those are the best.
Yeah, we did a live action, about 5 years ago before this, called Four Villains, about a bunch of super villains that lived together too, and it was all out of pocket, and took a long time to make, but, it was very satisfying. And what you learn producing and directing yourself too is huge,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best. Like, education and going to school and all that is important. It gives you a good baseline, but nothing beats in the field. Learning
hands-on.
through experience. Exactly. Learning through experience is, yes.
Yeah, I self-taught everything myself. I didn't actually take any formal education in animation or anything. So I really grasp the independent feel of all these things that you guys work on and we work on too. It makes a lot of sense to.
I mean, and that's the era that we're going into. If you want to be successful and you want to produce something like this, you really kind of have to be a jack of all trades. You have to learn to produce. You have to learn to animate. You have to learn to do post and edit. And it's important. And you don't have to do it all. That's why I love to tell people, find a good partner who compliments you in all the spaces that you're missing.
Delegate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, the other thing that I tell people is if you have a friend come up to you and they're like, hey man, can you hold a boom pole for like a weekend? Say yes.
Yes.
And even if they're like, we can't pay, I can't get a professional boom guy and I can't pay you, so will you do it for me? Do it.
Yes.
Because you will get so much appreciation and you'll learn so much in that weekend. And it puts a lot into perspective. Any task that you can try and shadow somebody on or try and do yourself, do it, because it only makes you a more well-rounded and more well-faceted producer and filmmaker in the long run.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like you said, the independent scene right now is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And with the advent of YouTube and Vimeo and all these new platforms that have come out, there's really an opportunity here. And even Hollywood's starting to struggle to find the larger budgets for these huge titles.
Right.
Because the independent scene's starting to prove that, you can make just as good content with a Handycam or even a cell phone at this point than Hollywood can even produce sometimes. And sometimes I even find the independent stuff better than what Hollywood's producing right now.
Yes, well, and it also goes to show you that if you have a good story and a good concept, that's your base, that's your foundation.
Yeah.
And, time and time again, we've seen it proven that just because you have $200 million in special effects, if the story, the foundation isn't there, no one's going to give a shit. No one cares. Yeah.
I can't hate on him. He's done some good stuff. I love explosions. So.
I mean, look, everyone loves explosions. I love like apocalypse destruction movies. It's fascinating to see the recreation of the cities that you're familiar with destroyed. Yeah. That's interesting.
That's why I love the apocalyptic games too, just playing Fallout right now and walking through a boss.
Fallout, exactly. Awesome. It's awesome, but Fallout is a really good story, where some of these other destruction apocalypse movies, not so much.
Yeah.
Start to see the comparison. If you have a good story,
It makes all the difference.
Makes all the difference.
Yeah, that, and and with that, of course, comes compelling characters that grow with that story, And I think that kind of tells the story too. The interpersonal relationships really take a part in there too. Yeah. So that being said, let's move on a little here. So I don't want to take up too much of our fans' time.
I know, I can talk about that forever.
I know. Filmmaking, I love talking shop. It's one of my favorite.
I know.
So you're working with Geek and Sundry on Critical Role now, which is a live D&D session show, which is awesome because I'm a D&D player myself. In fact, the only reason I made Lost Hope is because I have a god complex I need to fulfill, just because I'm a dungeon master myself.
Awesome.
So tell us a bit about Critical Role and tell people what that show is all about and how you got involved.
Okay, so Critical Role, I kind of briefly mentioned at the top. It's at its core just a group of voice actor friends. We're all friends who have had this same game that we've all been playing for about 3 years now, and we're all just sitting around playing D&D. And we knew that we had so many people just watching when we were playing, like wanting to watch just when we were playing at home. Yeah. And we knew that if you just kind of have this by itself in its raw form, it's perfect. You if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Exactly. So we ended up, Felicia Day heard about it, and she was the one who approached us and was like, I want to make this a show. And at first we were like, is this, D&D games are something, they're very personal, they're very important. Yeah. Do we want to share this? Is this something that we want to expose to the
put yourself out there?
Harsh, right? Especially the harsh deserts, the wasteland that is the internet. Who knows what kind of death claws are going to crawl out and just rip apart your arts. So it's like, oh,
I'm talking about death claws right now. I'm still angry about them.
Right? Right? Yeah. So it's like, man, do we want to do this? Ultimately, we all deep down inside, we didn't know. We had no idea what it was going to do or what it was going to become. But I think we all knew that the opportunities and what it could produce by making it public far outweighed the cons of keeping it private. And mainly because we were like, this is something that's become so important and so incredible in our lives. What happens if you share that?
And it looks like it's working for you, We
referred to it, I guess you can almost call its working title. We referred to it as the grand experiment for the first 6 months, 9 months we were doing it. We were like, oh yeah, so we're going to go into Geek and Sundry and talk about the grand experiment. Because we didn't know what it was going to be. And yeah, Felicia heard about it and was like, I want to do a Twitch channel and I want to do something. I want to do new things. I want to push the boundaries of what people are using Twitch for right now. Nice. And this is one of the ways we want to do it. And it ended up being the perfect outlet for exactly what we wanted to accomplish. Yeah. And so we went forward with it, and now cut to we have our it'll be a year in March. So 2 months will be a year. Yeah. And get hundreds of thousands of viewers a week, and we have people all over the globe, and it's become one of the most incredible things that I think any of us have ever been a part of. And part of it all goes back to it being that story aspect of it, I think, is why it's so it's become so
appealing, basically.
Yeah, and so such a more gratifying aspect in our lives.
Yeah.
Because it's our story that we're sharing with the world.
D&D, like you said, it's very personal. It really is. I have character sheets that I still have to this day. There's they're falling apart in tiny little pieces, but I don't want to get rid of them. You can barely read what I wrote on them. But
because it's a person. Yeah. There's a person in this sheet.
There's a person on that sheet. It's a whole, it's not just a person, but their entire lineage is on that sheet.
Exactly.
It's really personal to me for my characters, and then the worlds that I built too. It's the same thing, especially with D&D. Hey, bird, what's go around.
Dagon's gonna join.
That's cool.
She
Yeah,
doesn't mind her own.
D&D is very personal, and like I personally, I don't know, it would be a difficult transition for me to jump in front of a camera and show the people the things I say and do behind the scenes when I'm playing a character, you know. But it's kind of the same as being an actor in a sense, because you are jumping into the shoes of someone else, and you're being them for that entire session, you know.
Yeah, it's ultimately been like a 3-year long form improv is kind of the way we refer to it sometimes. Like every night we do a 3.5-hour long form improv, or every Thursday night. So, and it's weird when you spend that much time in someone else's head and some other character's head, you start to definitely get attached to them.
Yeah.
You know, my Keyleth she seems like a friend. You know, it's weird.
She's part of your soul now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And, like, I have kind of had this new realization and discovery that I've been telling people a lot, where especially after the year, because, you know, before the show, we wouldn't play as regularly. We would play, you know, maybe once every 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And, but we would block out entire Saturdays. You know, we would play for 8-10 hours.
I miss those days. You know, as you get older and everyone gets jobs, it's so hard to get people together for such a long period of time, you know?
Right. And I mean, if anything, the show has been great for that, because now we have
play D&D all the time.
We have to do it weekly. Yeah, it's got to be a weekly show.
Damn, I have to play D&D?
Now it's work. Right. Yeah. Now I mean, can't miss our job as...
You're that fans, you're slave driving her into playing D&D. How dare you?
Jesus, why must you demand this from me?
Yes, I totally get that, and congratulations on all the success it's had. You guys have done a great job, and I'm enjoying it a lot, and it makes me want to play D&D so bad. You know?
Do it. Everyone should.
Need more time, man. I need more time.
I know. I feel that.
So outside of Critical Role, obviously you said you've done a bunch of voice acting on some video games, and now you're working on Lost Hope, which I'm really excited for. She does a great job of bringing Simmons to life.
Love Simmons.
Yeah. And of course Matt also is a voice actor as well. And so together you guys are kind of like a power couple of voice actors, basically.
Yeah.
How did was it through Matt that you got into voice acting, or how did you get into voice acting personally?
Yeah, I basically kind of through Matt, I guess, ultimately. I went to college for acting and had been focusing a lot on screen and hosting and comedy and kind of doing my own thing. And I kind of had like a huge stigma in my personal stigma over my voice. I didn't like the sound of it. And I guess part of it is what's that?
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's common. It's fairly average. Most people hear themselves on camera. You know, you film home videos and you go back and you listen to yourself and you're like, oh God, is that me? Is that what I sound like? You know, so it's not uncommon. You hear yourself differently coming out. I mean, your ears are here, your voice is going. That there's a lot happening, you know, in the atmosphere by the time your voice makes it back to your ears. Yeah. And that's science. So
science?
You sound weird. You sound weird to yourself. So, and I went to college for theater, and, you know, I was like, well, I'm never going to be an Idina Menzel, you know. I'm never going to have those pipes. And so I just kind of had this weird, mental block about my voice. And so I came out here, you know, and I was doing on camera and whatnot. And then Matt and I started dating, and he's like, you know, I really think you need to pursue voiceover. And I was like, fuck you. No. I was like, no, that's no. And then I was also kind of like, you start to kind of run into the issue of thinking, do I want to pursue this whole other stream? You know, do I want to keep it on this one flow where I'm going to have more pressure Or am I going to dilute myself if I gonna go down too many streams? Not to make some weird ass analogy, but you get what I'm saying.
Ghostbusters.
So it's like, do
There's
I?
some about Ghostbusters in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't wanna cross the streams.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I want to put effort into this? Because you have to weigh it every everything you spend time doing is taking away time from something else you could be potentially doing.
Yeah,
and life is fucking short.
I always look at it as that I care less about money and I care more about my time, because my time is the only currency I'm born with. Money is something I'm given,
Oh, absolutely. I say one of my biggest pet peeves is when people waste my time.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm time is money.
Yeah.
And when people say time is money, I think they sometimes often think about it in the very literal exchange way. I get paid $7.50 an hour, and I'm like, no. Time is a currency.
Yes.
That's what that means to me.
Time, the original Bitcoin.
It is the original Bitcoin. It is the cosmos's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I am not afraid to put money into things to get me more time.
Yes.
And I'm not, I think, I actually, in light of recent events, of course, David Bowie has been popping up quite a lot in his philosophies. I know. There's this really great interview he did with the BBC in 2000. Everyone should go check it out. And he compared, it was 16 minutes long, just YouTube, David Bowie, BBC, and he compares rock and roll to the internet. And he's talking about the internet, and I swear to God, it's some Nostradamus type shit.
Oh, you guys kind of foresaw where music was going in the music industry because of the internet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you watched this?
No, I saw a blog post on it. I never got to watch it though. But
okay. It's everything we're doing. It's everything we're doing, Jeff. You gotta go watch it. It is this. It is Lost Hope. It is Kickstarter. It is, because he talks about how in the 21st century, art is going to progress into a way where the audience is just as important and serves just as much of a function in the art as the artist producing it is. And that's what Critical Role is. That's what Kickstarter is completely based on, is this kind of crowd-sourced art. And I think it's phenomenal, and it's a great place that we're heading. And you got to go watch David Bowie. But I thoroughly, one of the things that he mentions in there, we keep segueing, I think, a little bit. And that's probably my fault. One of the things he says is he was like, I am not a materialistic guy. He's like, I don't like buying things. He's like, I'm not a car guy. I'm not a house guy. Yeah. He's like, for me, money was always meant as a tool, as a resource to put back into producing more art and producing more things.
Which is, again, essentially buying his own time back so he can focus on that stuff, right?
Right, and focus on what he wants to do and what he wants to produce, and it fucking worked.
Yeah. Inspiration is inspired by the man,
Exactly. And everyone was inspired by him. There's being in the industry, whenever a celebrity dies, everyone kind of has stories because, well, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that person and whatnot. But Bowie was different. He transcended. He touched everyone because he broke the mold.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he was an art piece in himself. I mean, the guy made his death an art piece. Way to drop the fucking mic on death. I want to do that.
I'm out.
It's awesome. He took an uncontrollable situation and made it on his own terms.
And he took something that most people would consider really dark and sad and bad, and he turned it into something so beautiful and amazing and inspiring to another generation. And that was the last thing he did, was inspire everybody. And to me, I can only hope that would happen to us, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's still like at this moment. I mean, I think there's something very inspiring. You know, there's got to be a light to every darkness.
Yes.
You know, and in Bowie's passing, he reminded us that we are still on one globe. You know, I like I said, we have Critical Role has fans all across everywhere. We have fans.
Global community, right?
It is a global community.
Exactly.
So I follow people on my Twitter from all over the globe, and the entire globe went into mourning. And I think that's whenever something like that happens, it's a reminder of our humanity. You know, he was still teaching us about our humanity and how we're not different from each other at all.
Yeah, in fact,
it's
we're better as a whole than we are apart. We're lifting each other up and helping each other out, and the whole music industry that he helped cultivate was all about that. Him crossing over with the Rolling Stones and all those amalgamations of bands trying to get together and writing music together. You know,
Right.
that's the feel that I think what you're trying to say is that the internet's kind of bringing to all the independents. Is that, you know, 10 years ago I couldn't know someone in China or Afghanistan or Germany very well at all. In fact, I'd probably know a few things about them, but I can intimately know someone now who's may never actually meet in real life, you know?
Right. And it goes, you know, when something like that happens, it starts, because it's so easy, you know, and like you were saying, like 10, 20 years ago, it was so easy for you to feel like, oh, you know, Germany, China, all those places, they're so far away. We're so different. They're different than us. But that's not true at all. It's not true at all. You know, and when you see someone like an entire globe, you know, when you can hear someone in New Zealand go, holy fucking shit, Bowie is heartbreaking to me, to everyone, it makes you, it immediately brings a sense of connection. Yeah, you have, and relatability.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh, maybe we all have a little bit more in common with each other than what we give ourselves credit for.
or that we tell ourselves.
What we tell ourselves, yeah. You know, and especially in like it's a horrible war state all the time. All the time, you know, it's always war times in somewhere in some way, and I think especially in media, and not even in modern media, it's been this way for fucking forever.
Yeah.
It's so easy to spin the idea that these people are so foreign to us, you know, that other people, that other cultures are, you know, are these weird animals that aren't, you know, relatable. And it's, you know,
it's that the phobia, you know, that people got to get past, you know, and I try to be as open as I can be, but I mean, even you and I probably run into, you know, barriers that we still have to break through in that situation too, you know, but just because of the culture that we were raised in too. But let's move on from the sad.
I know, we can talk about that forever.
Let's jump back to some fun stuff.
Man, we are getting deep. I don't know if this is what you wanted.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. The fans want to see the passion. They want to hear that. I want to hear it. I'm your fan too. So let's take this up a notch to something more fun and something inspiring to probably both of us.
Yes.
You've seen the new Star Wars.
I have.
And?
Oh, I don't know if you want to get on this topic with me.
Okay, well, let's do a real short segue on it then. Let's say, on a whole, how did you feel when you left the theater? Not as easy as it sounds, apparently.
I had mixed emotions, I guess.
Of course. Okay, by the way, fans, if you're watching this may contain spoilers, so there you go.
That's true.
It's said.
Absolutely.
Now we can freely
if you haven't
talk
watched
about
Star Wars, go watch it. Go watch it.
So watch it!
Go watch it!
If you haven't watched it, you're worried about spoilers, you've missed the point of going to see Star Wars.
Sorry. Admittedly, out of the gate, Star Wars is not like my thing.
Yeah.
you know, like everyone has their thing. I've seen them all. I've watched them. I absolutely appreciate them for what they are. And I'm like, yeah, Star Wars. But I'm not like like those people, you know, who are like,
hey now, I'm one of those people.
yeah. Which is great. I have that about my fandoms, all right? Trust me, I have that about things. So I am not judging in the slightest. It's just that Star Wars is not that for me. So I guess I almost feel a little bit like a third-party perspective sometimes because I don't have such a close interpersonal relationship with Star Wars as other people did.
Well, now I really want to hear your opinion because I'm so close to it. I'd like to hear that third person opinion there.
To me, I am, and we've heard it before. You heard it. We've heard other people say it too. It seems like there are two categories of people on the new Star Wars: the people who are like, awesome franchise revitalized. This is everything we needed. Feel like we're going back to the classics, which I agree with. I loved the throwback feeling of it. I loved.
Yeah.
I mean, just the palette alone was gorgeous. The color palettes. I mean, it was gorgeous, and it definitely felt way closer akin to the first three movies. With that being said, maybe it felt almost too akin.
Yes, you're talking about the how close it was to New Hope, right?
Yeah, that kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
kind of.
Before with someone else, and I actually think it's more than just New Hope. I think it's actually kind of an amalgamation of New Hope and Empire, and they smashed them together and said, "This is our formula for this movie," you know?
Absolutely. I mean,
Not that there's anything wrong with that, JJ. You did a good job. I'm happy.
Not that there's any, and it's what people wanted, and that's the thing. He did what the fans wanted. I'm just not one of them. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it felt like a really, really well done Star Wars fan fiction.
Well, that's a good way to put it, actually. I like that.
Like a really well produced Star Wars fan fiction.
Nice.
So yes, and there's massive plot holes in it. I guess it depends on if you're.
See where that goes to in the future. The next two movies might fix some of those things.
We'll see where it goes. I don't see why. I once again, we don't want to sit here and talk forever about the plot holes. But even just the exploding demolition of the mega Death Star planet, mega planet, the Death Star. Big plus, that's right, plus, whatever you want to call it, which at first they were like, there's a whole sequence where they're like, well, look, we can't destroy it, but we can disable it. Cut to into the movie.
Oops, we destroyed it.
Oh, dope. Cool. I mean, that was fucking lucky for us. So I felt like that whole thing, the whole getting rid of the planet that they took the entire first movie to establish could have been stretched.
Oh yeah,
across the rest of the next three movies that we're assuming, or two movies that we're assuming they're definitely probably going to do. Yeah. So this, and that's also like I admittedly, unabashedly, as someone who has been like producing my own web series and writing and in Critical Role and and am a storyteller myself. And have been in the industry for maybe too long already and might be a little jaded. That's when you start like you can't go to movies anymore without
analyzing.
Well, I was making this. I don't know why. So, like, there's also that. Like, it's whatever. But who fucking cares about my opinion? It was just my opinion.
Well,
if you love it,
we can do the flip side here. It's like, we've heard your opinion. We've heard the opinion of the third party. Everyone, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I totally see the plot holes, and I definitely felt that it was a retelling of A New Hope, which I did quite enjoy myself. I loved especially practical effects. I think that made all the difference. You know,
Oh,
that tangible,
absolutely.
visceral
So glad they
feel.
went back to a lot of that.
Yeah, and at first I thought I was going to hate BB-8, and I thought I was going to hate Kylo Ren, but they grew on me. I actually really love BB-8 now. He's one of my
Oh, he's
favorite
so
droids.
fucking cute.
So cute. That lighter thumbs up, that did it right
So
there.
cute. Although once again, I have a little bit of problem with the fact that like I felt like as a character, like he was kind of like had no reason to really trust Poe, and he was still like, sure. So
Yeah.
like once again, as a storyteller, I'm like, BB-8, he could be a fucking mass murderer, and you just told him where the base was. Like it's not you like thought about it for like 2 seconds. You went, yeah, I trust you.
Droid logic,
So
man. You can never trust
droid logic.
Droid.
Droid logic, I guess, yeah. But with all that being said, the little lighter thumbs up, totally fucking cutest part of the movie, and it totally made me love him so much, even though I'm like, you're not as smart as R2-D2 BB-8.
No,
You're like,
he'll be R2, but he's close second.
BB-8's like the like, you know, like when you have a dog, like an old farm dog who's like awesome and loyal, he's like fucking smart, and then you get a new puppy, and it's like the puppy like is just dumb as a rock, but he's cute. He's cute as shit, but he like runs into walls, and he's got a big old tail that he smacks into like tables, and you're like, your tail is bleeding. Like that's how I kind of feel about BB-8. Like he's like kind of the cute, dumb new puppy.
Yeah.
It got brought into the house.
All right, so outside of Star Wars, let's let's jump onto some of your other inspirations. Since you're not a AAA Star Wars fan, what are you a AAA fan of?
Great question. I guess if we want to kind of stay on that same Lucas Films trilogy spectrum, I'm on the other side. I'm an Indiana Jones girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Indiana Jones is my, which is why the fourth one was so sad, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Maybe we'll have a revival like Star Wars did. But
talking about it, I mean, we'll see if Harrison Ford holds up, and you know, he didn't seem too eager to do Star Wars, but I think he likes Indy more than he does Star Wars. So
Harrison Ford's not eager to do anything anymore. He's like a legit crotchety old man that is just doing things. I think because I think he thinks that if he stops doing things, he's gonna like just die. You know, like retirement is the #1 killer of old people type of thing. Like I swear, I think he's just begrudgingly doing movies just because he has no one else to do.
He could come and be my dad for the rest.
Yes.
Of the That'd be cool. I mean, I'm totally fine with that.
Totally.
Seriously, yeah. So you're an indie fan. That's awesome. Obviously, Back to the Future fan too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Back to the Future. I'm more of I've always been a more, I don't know. I guess it's not 100% true. I'd say I was going to say I've always been a more action adventure instead of like sci-fi girl, but that's not true either because like I love Star Trek.
Yes.
Star Trek's great. Me and my dad were Trekkies back in the day. We loved watching Next Gen together.
New series coming too, which I'm really excited for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Excited for that one. And then my favorite video game of all time that I always tell people, the video game that is responsible for making me the core gamer that I am today is Tomb Raider.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of course, strong female lead, one of the first of all time that really pushed the genre. Yeah, I can see that.
Exactly.
And Indiana Jones style, totally.
Right. You know,
so
and
there was the Uncharted series then as well?
Not as much as I like Tomb Raider, but it might be because I was such a Tomb Raider girl that I totally recognized it for what it was when it came out. I'm like, oh, they're doing Tomb Raider with this smarmy kind of asshole dude.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, no, I mean that's fine. That's cool. That's cool. So it's not, you know.
So you're a Tomb Raider girl. It sounds like you need a music video for that.
I think Team Unicorn already covered that.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right, well, so let's jump a bit back to Lost Hope. Let's talk about Lost Hope a little here.
Yeah. Totally.
So let's tell the fans what drew you to helping us out and making this project.
Well, let's see. I think it was like one fine October day. Actually, I don't know when It was.
I don't even remember.
I didn't know if I can clue who it was who contacted me. But you reached out. It was you, and you presented me with a great pitch package. Really, like I remember seeing like a lot of your mock-up art and the plates. You had a lot of the like location plates, and I was like, oh shit, and all the concept art. I was like, hell yeah, this is great. And then of course with the other awesome castmates that are all involved, they're all phenomenal. All of them are phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's certain projects when you have, people things like Facebook and the general public can send you.
Social media can send you anything.
Seen a lot of weird shit come through my inbox in terms of what people, are asking me to be a part of. So, but every once in a while, and this is why I check them all out.
Every once in a while, you get a lost hope, right?
Every once in a while, you get a lost hope, which is why you got to give everyone a chance. And that was something that Guillermo del Toro talked about. Yeah. He was like, I read every script. I read every screenplay that comes past in front of me by every fan, every fanfic, because you never know who's going to be, the next Coen brothers. You never know who's going to be the next like brilliant fucking writer of the 21st century.
Exactly.
So
it's going to be me. I'm just putting that.
It's going to be you.
It's going to be here. No, I'm kidding. Awesome. Yeah, so you play Simmons, which is one of our main 8 characters. We have a pretty big cast, of course. And of course, I tried to make each character design kind of based around the actors, because if one day, God forbid, we actually get to make a live-action movie, I'd love to cast all of our actual voice actors as their actual characters.
Which would be
that
sick.
Just makes sense,
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Simmons is kind of our second in command on the security onboard security story on the USS Hopeful, next to Clara Hope, who is the main commander, and you've done a great job at voicing her and making her sound very commanding and strong-willed, and
Thank you.
We're going to have a lot of fun with that character as well. She's in a same-sex marriage with Regina, who's second in command to the captain, and so we're going to play on that kind of stuff and see what kind of situations and tension can draw on that, and so. With Simmons, of course, she's a very commanding woman, and it seems to me that through your Star Wars, through your Metal Gear, and now, of course, Simmons, it's kind of almost your thing to be these commanding, strong-willed women. So it sounds like you are Tomb Raiders. What do you think about that?
Oh, wow, you kind of just blew my mind. No one's ever put it like that before. I mean, aside from that being, I guess, like a massive compliment that I'm not sure if I'm worthy of. Yeah, well, what was funny is when I finally got into voiceover, when Matt talked me into making a demo, and it was
ground you down. Let's say ground you down into doing a promo.
He ground me down. Is that plus a lot of we had just being in the industry, you start to have a lot of friends who are also fellow voice actors, and and we had a few directors, and a few of them started being like, Marisha, where's your reel? And I was like, and they're like, fucking give me your VO demo. And I was like, I don't have one. And they're like, fucking make one. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, you got to do this. And it took a while to realize that what they didn't like in my voice in theater in New York, because I don't have that natural kind of clarity. I've got that kind of
rasp,
gravel, exactly, that kind of rasp. And that's what they're like, well, for video games, it's awesome. You sound dope. So thanks, voice, for making me sound like a badass, even though I'm totally, it's kind of klutzy.
Awesome. So like 100% credit to your voice and none to you at all, right?
Well, I mean, anyone who wants to like compare me even a little bit to Simmons, like I said, I'm flattered because she's awesome. But it has been, it's great to kind of to play those commanding women, and it's great that we're getting more and more opportunities for roles like that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah, that's totally. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic that 5-10 years ago, all the action games you wouldn't even see a woman, not even as a side character.
Yeah, even just, I mean, shit. I'd say it's even grown exponentially even over the past 2 years, 3 years. So it's getting much better. I mean, even in Star Wars Battlefront, this is the first time they've had female stormtroopers in canon.
You're right. Yeah. I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're changing the world of Star Wars.
I know. I'm a part of Star Wars history, man. Isn't that dope? This is great.
I'm super jealous now.
Me and Brienne of Stormtrooper.
Nice.
Me and Phasma Trooper.
Yeah, I wish she got more.
Stormtrooper of Tarth.
Wish Brienne got more screen time.
Me too. Me too. That was one of my biggest irritations of the movie. I was like, what?
Garbage compactor? What?
There's the whole. Never mind. I'll rant about it. I'm gonna let it go.
Well, we should get close to wrapping this up. It's about 45 minutes here. And Marisha, you got anything to add?
Just definitely check out Lost Hope. It's amazing. I think it can be one of the next great comedy kind of fun parody series. I'm so thrilled to be a part of it. Definitely check out Critical Role on Geek and Sundry's Twitch channel Thursday nights at 7 p.m. PST. And I guess follow me on Twitter at Marisha_Ray. Someone already has Marisha Ray, some egg floating out there. Anyway, so check it out, and there's always fun stuff. There's always new stuff that I'm trying to do.
Always.
I've always got my hands and
your raptor hands.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Marisha, again for joining us. It's been a blast as usual. Digital high five. Yeah.
Awesome. There we go.
And thanks, guys, for watching and keep an eye out for Lost Hope.
Yeah. We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Deuces. Deuces. Deuces.